My name is Hal Von Nessen. I'm the president and founder of a company called RESH Marketing here in Columbia. We do a variety of different things, and I think often when I come and have an opportunity to speak to a group like this, it's important for you to understand a little bit about my background so you know just exactly why I'm standing up here. In the last 24 months, we have worked with builders and developers and other associated people, primarily in the housing industry, which probably explains a lot of why we're not traveling a lot anymore. But the last 24 months, these are relationships that we have established. This gives us an opportunity to travel around the country, see what's going on in other areas of the country, and import some of the good ideas that are happening there, and to share that with other clients that we're working with. We do a variety of different services. You can see them up here, and I don't want to bore you with the details, but just to give you some credibility to establish some credibility for me, that we have done some work in all areas of marketing. This is a website. Now, I've got a couple of microphones on here. I want to tell a little story about my wife. I came home one day, and I see all these jewelry boxes and all this stuff, pins and things on my kitchen table, and boxes of shoes. And she had been to the doctor that morning, and I said to her, "Darling, what's with all this stuff?" And she said, "Well, the doctor told me to go out and accessorize and buy new shoes." And so I called the doctor and I said, "What's going on here? What possibly could you be giving her advice like that?" And he said, "I didn't say like that." He said, "I said to exercise and buy good food." So I record everything that I say so that I'll give a tape to Jerry so that when I say something to you today, if you misunderstand it, Jerry can go back and check and see exactly what I did say. If you'd like to follow along with the PowerPoints at some point in the future, go to my website, which is right there. And when you go to that website, there's a little downloads and newsletters that's there. Click on that, fill out the information, and we'll send you, or you can actually download the PDF that's up there right now of all the presentation that I had this afternoon. So Jerry will have a tape that you can go back and listen and associate with the visuals that are there. All right. Also on that, there's a coupon. Should you have some services that you want, there's a discount coupon that will come with that PDF. One of the new things that we're offering is research services. I think we're one of the few advertising agencies that now includes a research economist on staff, which gives us some additional insight and some additional capabilities. My son recently earned his PhD and has come into the staff working with the Moore School and also with my company doing more research type activities. In the last 2 years, we've had a number of things that have happened. Now, I know you engineers like all the technical graphs and stuff, but I'm a creative type person, so I don't use technical graphs. But this will sort of communicate what's going on in the media planning area. We were all out there flying along doing real good in sales. Then all of a sudden the market started to shift. The media impact that we'd all been used to, newspaper, radio, television, all of the different media sources that we had, began to drop. And when the media sources, the impact that they have dropped because of the economy that we were fitting into, the traffic situation that we all had an opportunity to work with also fell. And in the process, the thing that we're most concerned with are conversions. People didn't want to buy. They don't want to buy your services. They don't want to buy my services. They don't want to buy anything. And so those conversion rates dropped down. Consequently, the cost of that media, because we're getting fewer and fewer results, began to go up. And as those costs went up, where we were having fairly good sales, all of a sudden things began to change and our sales went south. That's happened universally across the board. Now, in the economy that we're facing today, we're trying to get out of that situation. But we've got to understand that when you go around and talk to people about media opportunities, they generally feed back 4-letter words to you. 4-letter words. Words like tank. Well, we're still doing the sales success. Let's go on. Words like tank, as in what our sales have been doing, tanking. They're going down. We're in trouble with them. Words like cost, because what we're doing is having less impact and our costs are rising as we try to use different medium. They say to me, we want to save. And what all of these words are going back to and giving us a feeling for is a fear in the current economy. Now, it happens in your industry, it happens in my industry, it's happening in every industry across the board right now. People are concerned about what's going on in the economy. They can't project into the future and see where their next dollar is coming from, and so they have some worries, some fears, and some concerns. There are still customers out there. Still customers available to us. You can just barely see the guy up here. See him right in there? They're still out there, but we have to find them. That fear is still existing in the economy, but I think that the word fear is not the one that we need to look at, but rather we need to turn that fear into hope. And we do that by getting off these four-letter words and start looking at something else, and that's value. And I think when we start talking about media decisions, what we need to look for in the media placements that we look at and the dollars that we spend is a value for that marketing dollar that we're spending. Value in the media market, and we can look at it in any number of different ways, is a relationship between cost, what you're actually paying for it, and the delivery, what you're getting back for the dollars that you spend. And if we look at this value equation in everything that we do, whether it be mass media like television or individualized media like direct mail, we're going to get more bang for the buck. So we have to look at those and see what's going on. This is a little graph that I do that sort of reflects what we're talking about. Down on this end of the spectrum, we have personal contact. If I come to you tomorrow afternoon and I talk to you, that's a one-on-one sales conversation. And that's the most expensive you can engage in. If we move up the continuum to mass media, for example, NBC News, the Super Bowl, national television, we're getting large volumes of people coming in. We're paying a low price on an individual basis, but we have a lot of waste. We also have a lot of delivery. So as delivery goes up, the cost per unit goes down. And the opposite is true. As delivery goes down and we're looking at smaller one-on-one contact, the cost per unit goes up. All right, so what does that mean? Let's look at some of these costs that we're talking about. If we look at television advertising, this is a schedule that we ran last year, and we actually tracked the responses that were coming back. If we look at TV advertising, you can see this is the response rate that we're getting for televisions, somewhat higher than email. And I define email as that personal one-on-one contact like we're getting with direct mail contact. Okay, so the email is having much smaller results. We flipped into radio, it started jumping up. We flipped into newspaper, it started jumping back up. But primarily television was delivering the largest amount of audience. But that's not the true story, because you have to look at what that audience costs you on a per unit basis. Down here, this is web traffic. We took over a website here. We started doing search engine optimization, and we started doing the keyword advertising, that type of activity. And you can see where that traffic jumped as well. So advertising works. And there's an old expression, all advertising is good. It's just that some is better than others. And the key to which is the best is the kind of return that you get. And we have to measure return in a number of different ways. We can measure it on a cost per impression. That's how many people we're talking to. We can measure it on a cost per traffic unit basis or a cost per sale basis. And all of these are cumulative. They're moving up the distribution channel as you look at each of them. But this gives you a more effective way of measuring what it is that you're going to be doing with your dollars. Coming up with some standard measure, not of what you're paying, but of what you're getting back for what you pay.